All right, let's talk pharma. There's a huge shift happening, and honestly, the clock is ticking. You know that old method, run 3 good batches, get a sign-off, and call it a day? Well, that's pretty much over. It's about to become a massive liability. Seriously, if you're not already embracing the new lifecycle approach, you're going to be playing catch-up, big time. So let's dive in and get you ready for what's coming.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. This quote says it all. If you aren't living in stage 3, you're one inspection away from a major disaster. Wow, that really cuts to the chase, right? It doesn't matter if you're dealing with the FDA here in the US or the EMA over in Europe. This whole idea of continuous verification, it's not just some nice to have best practice anymore. It is your shield. It's what stands between you and a whole lot of trouble.
So what's the big deal here? What are we really up against? It's this old, stubborn idea that process validation is a one-and-done thing. You take a quick snapshot after 3 successful batches, frame it, and hang it on the wall. Well, that way of thinking is completely obsolete. Regulators have done a total 180. They're not looking for a snapshot anymore. They want a live feed, a continuous, real-time look at how healthy your process is. And that brings us to the new rulebook, the lifecycle approach. And listen, this isn't a suggestion. It's not a, hey, you should probably do this. It's a mandate. Both the FDA and the EMA are requiring this now. The expectation is that you know your process inside and out, from the day you design it, through all the qualification steps, and for its entire life on the market. We're talking a full-on cradle-to-grave responsibility. Okay, so let's break this life cycle thing down. It's really all about 3 stages. The first 2 are, super important. They're the foundation. But it's that 3rd stage, that's where the magic or the mess really happens. Get this part right, and you're golden. Get it wrong, well, not so much. Mastering this is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to stay compliant.
So here they are. Stage 1, you've got process design. This is where you map everything out. Stage 2 is process qualification. Now, this is where that old 3 batches and you're done idea used to live. You're just proving the process works. But here's the real game changer. Stage 3, continued process verification. This is the big one. It's the ongoing part that basically never stops.
So what is stage 3, really? Let me be clear, this is so much more than just ticking a box for your annual product review. It is an active, living, breathing system of constantly collecting and analyzing data. The whole point is to know in real time that your process is stable and under control. Think of it this way, it's all about proactive monitoring, not just reactive reporting after something's gone wrong.
Okay, so you've got the life cycle approach down. Great. But just when you think you've got it figured out, let's throw in a little complication. Global operations. Because of course, the US and Europe don't have the exact same playbook. And knowing these differences, it's absolutely critical if you want to build a global strategy that isn't going to fall apart. Let's put them side by side. In the US, you've got the FDA. They call it Continued Process Verification, or CPV for short, and they are all about the stats. They want to see process capability indices like CPK and PPK, which, is just a fancy way of measuring how well your process stays within its limits. And they expect to see a lot of control charts. Now, over in Europe, the EMA calls it Ongoing Process Verification, or OPV. They tend to give you a little more flexibility, but, and this is a big but, you better have a really solid scientific justification for whatever you're doing. So, you've got different acronyms, slightly different approaches. It can seem confusing, but here's the good news. The end goal is exactly the same. All the FDA and the EMA really want you to do is prove one thing, that your process is consistently in a state of control. So yeah, the journey might look a little different, but the destination is identical. Okay, we've laid out the problem, we've looked at the regulatory maze. Enough about that. Let's talk solutions. What do you actually do? I've got a clear 4-step strategy for you that will help you build a program that's, well, bulletproof. It's designed to keep regulators happy on both sides of the pond. All right, here's your 4-step plan. Step 1, risk-based selection. Step 2, statistical vigilance. Step 3, the feedback loop. And Step 4, and this is the one people always seem to forget, a solid plan for your legacy products. Let's dig into each one of these. Okay, let's get into the details. For Step 1, risk-based selection, the key is don't try to monitor everything. You'll go crazy. Use a risk assessment to zero in on your most critical process variables and critical quality attributes. For Step 2, statistical vigilance, you need to be looking at variation inside each batch and also comparing one batch to another.
Now, step 3, the feedback loop, is all about being proactive. If you see a trend heading in the wrong direction, even if it's still in spec, you need a system to jump on that before it becomes a real deviation. And finally, those legacy products. Please don't forget them. EU regulators are really putting these under the microscope right now. So we've got our structure, we've got our strategy. You think we're done, right? But there's one more thing. A final piece of advice that honestly separates a program that just checks a box from one that is truly effective. It all comes down to this. It's not about the data you collect, it's about what you do with it. I love this quote. It just nails a huge problem I see all the time. Data rich, information poor. Think about it. So many companies are amazing at collecting data. They've got servers just packed with numbers, spreadsheets for days, but they're completely failing to turn that raw data into actual useful information. It's the classic data rich, information poor trap. So what's the secret? You have to move from just collecting data to visualizing it. Seriously, your entire OPV or CPV program, its success or failure, hangs on whether your team can actually read the data. If your people can't look at a control chart and immediately understand the story it's telling, then the whole thing is just a massive, meaningless paperwork exercise. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. It's something I want you to take back and really think about. Look at your own processes and ask this. Are you just collecting data? Or are you actually creating knowledge? Knowledge that protects your patients and ultimately protects your business? Because how you answer that question, that's what's going to define your success from here on out.